Hello, and welcome to this live broadcast, which is going out on Facebook and YouTube live streaming at the same time. My name is Louisa Whitney, and I run LKW Family Mediation, which is a family mediation practice based in Dorking in Surrey. And I have been running a series of blogs recently designed to help you if you're going through a separation at the moment, so that you can think about what's going to happen next and what do you need to do. When you first separate from a partner, it can feel so unbelievably overwhelming because you have such a large number of emotions going on. Often you can change hour by hour, sometimes even minute by minute. And in all of this, you're trying to also think about, how can I support my children? How are they going to take this? You may also be thinking, how am I going to hold down a job? I'm a mess. What if I lose my job? Then I can't do anything. And all of these are things that lots of people who are going through a separation think about and worry about. So in this live, I'm just going to give you a few simple things to think about so that you can really take away what it is you need to be doing next if you're just going through a separation. I will also put up the links to the blogs that I've done so that you can go and have a look at those. The blogs that I've done in this series are looking at grief, and there is absolutely a grief process that is attached to divorce, even though nobody's died. You know, sometimes people say it almost would have been easier if the other person had died because it would be a more straightforward process. And that definitely doesn't mean that they wish they had died. It's just that it's a very strange form of bereavement. But it is a bereavement because you are losing the life that you thought you were going to have. In the blogs, I've also talked about energy and the energy of divorce. And I think energy is something that people are talking about more and more. And certainly from my perspective, as well as being a mediator, I am also a Reiki practitioner. It's something that I've become interested in the last few years. And so I suppose I've noticed when people are talking about the energy of the place or what happens. But if you subscribe to the view, which I think more people do now, that everything around us is energy, then it can help to tune into what energy is there surrounding your divorce. If one of you is feeling really stressed, that can permeate and you can almost feel the stress or feel the other person's anger or anxiety. And that in itself can have a difficult effect on you if you're kind of absorbing that and having to deal with that. I've also blogged about the fact that in your divorce, it's your decisions. It's really important that you get support and that you get advice and help, but ultimately the decisions that you both make about what happens next are your decisions. And in this, I have also talked about what other support you might need. And that includes everything from lawyers and financial planners right through to, do you think you could do with some Reiki, some reflexology, a aromatherapy massage to try and release tension. I have tried in that last blog post to put together a full list of any kind of expert that you might need, depending on what needs you have. Because there is not a one-size-fits-all separation. And just because you know someone who went through a separation, it doesn't mean that what they did will be right for you. And it doesn't mean that the support they got is what you need. And I'm a passionate believer that you have to look at what the particular issue is that you're coming up against to know what support you need to get you through that issue. And people always worry about paying for support and how expensive it's going to be. But if you get the right support at the right time to help you deal with an issue, it can actually save you an awful lot of money in paying the wrong person at the wrong time, or even the wrong person at the right time, or whichever way round it might be. So that's something that always informs my approach with people in mediation as to what support do you need? How can we get you that support to help you move forward? So moving now on to some things that you can do if you have separated from a partner. And that could be someone you were married to, someone you weren't married to. This can be same-sex couples. It can be anything where you have had a relationship that has come to an end. And that might have happened very recently, or it might be something that happened over a year ago that you feel you're still coming to terms with. Again, no one size fits all on this. So there's 3 things that I really want you to take away from this. The first one is you need to look after yourself. And that can be really hard when you feel that you maybe feel you're not worthy of being looked after. Maybe you feel guilt around the breakdown of your relationship. Maybe it's really knocked your confidence and you've started to feel that you're not worthy of self-care. Or maybe you feel you've got to look after everybody else and that you come bottom of the pile and you'll sort yourself out later on down the line. But you need to be okay. And you may need support to be okay, because divorce and separation are one of the most stressful life events that people go through. So it's okay to not be okay during this difficult time. So please do think about your own well-being. Visit your GP if you need to. They can be a really great first port of call if you feel that you are struggling with your emotions. Maybe you feel stressed, anxious, depressed, or all of the above. Please also think about the pace that you deal with things at. Sometimes people want to sort everything out in as little time as possible because they want to grieve once things are sorted out. And that's not wrong, but you need to ensure that you are in the right frame of mind to make the decisions that you need to make that may affect you for a significant period of time to come, and possibly even the rest of your life. So it's really important that you're able to make those decisions in a calm and considered way. And if you feel you're just not there at the moment, then you might need to slow down the pace of sorting things out and find a pace that really works for both of you and not just one person. It's very common that one person has perhaps been contemplating the end of the relationship for some time and they want to be full speed ahead to their new life, but the other person is really struggling to catch up and still reeling from the fact that their relationship has ended, and they may need more time to get to a point where they're able to make informed decisions. It's also really important, if you're supporting children, that you are okay. And the analogy that I think people use a lot is that if you're on an aeroplane and the oxygen masks come down, you're supposed to put your oxygen mask on before you put your child's mask on, largely because if you've passed out because you haven't had any oxygen, then you're not going to be any help to your child. So there's absolutely a metaphor in that. I do know that for a lot of parents, they think, well, like hell am I going to put my oxygen mask on before I put my child's on? My child will be getting theirs first. And as a parent myself, that's also a viewpoint that I understand. But I think the really important thing is that if you crumble and fall and you are in a heap of emotion, that is not going to be doing your child any good, because your child becomes a quasi-parent worrying about mum or dad and why they're so upset. And that's not a way that you want your child to spend their childhood. The second thing that I want you to know about what might be a helpful way forward is that you need to find a resolution that's going to work for all of you. And sometimes human nature is such that each person focuses on what's going to work for me, what's going to work for me and my children, what would be good for us. But actually, a resolution needs to work for all of you, because if you all feel that you found the right way forward, that's both parties and your children, then it's going to be a much more comfortable process for everyone. Children are going to benefit from seeing mum's okay and dad's okay. And if children can have a happy home with each parent, then that is usually going to be much better for them going forward and enable them to adjust to the fact that they're not going to be living with both parents anymore going forward. So sometimes that can require quite a bit of compromise. It can certainly require having a constructive dialogue, and sometimes that really does need support because you're not able to have that constructive dialogue yourself. And there are a plethora of ways that separating couples can be supported to make the decisions that are right for them and their children. Lastly, I really do want you to think about your children and what is best for them, and to try to separate how you feel about separation from how your children feel about it. You know, a classic example is that if your partner has formed a new relationship with someone, you may feel really hurt. You may feel really let down by that. And that's entirely understandable when what has happened. And you may feel that as a life partner, they have been less than honest and that they have not been there for you and that you've not been able to rely on you. That doesn't mean that your child has the same view of them as a parent. Your child may still see them as being a wonderful parent and will no doubt still love them very much. And that's the kind of thing that I mean when I say focus on how your children feel and how you feel as being different things. Most children do not want to be put in a position where they are fighting between their parents. In fact, I'd probably go as far as to say all children with that. Certainly in studies that have been done, one particular study that I know of, 31% of children said, please don't criticise dad in front of me, mum, or please don't criticise mum in front of me, dad, because it's hurtful for them. Children know that they're part mum and part dad, and if mum now hates dad or dad now hates mum, what does that mean for them? What is going to be going on in them? Internal conflict as they try to make sense of that. So it's really important to put your children's needs first. And if you're finding it hard to separate your emotions from your child's, it can be really helpful to talk to a neutral, impartial and professional third party like a counsellor. And again, if you see your GP, they'll be able to let you know what local counselling services are available to you. So again, really focus on looking after yourself and your own well-being. That is important. To find a way forward, you need to find a process that's going to enable you to have a constructive discussion, to find a resolution that's going to be right for you. And I talk in mediation about finding resolutions that are tailor-made to you, because this is your family, not anybody else's. The last point is really to put your children first, because all of the research suggests that it's being caught up in conflict that affects children when their parents separate, and not the fact that their parents have separated in themselves. If you need extra support to help you manage your separation constructively, then one of the things you can do is to sign up for the free mailing list that I run from LKW Family Mediation, with lots of support and tips and resources to help you understand what is the best way of dealing with particular issues. You can get onto that mailing list by going to bit.ly/LKW And if you're on that mailing list, you're going to be one of the first people to get details of the online shop that will hopefully go live before the end of this month that I've been working on. And that's going to have lots of resources in it for those going through a separation, to help them understand what it is they need to do, and to also understand the whole process and, well, what starts where and what it is you actually need to be sorting out. I'm really excited about this. It's been a project of mine that I have been talking about for some time. It has taken me a lot longer than I anticipated to get it together, but it should hopefully be live soon, and I'm really excited about it, and I will be sharing it with the mailing list first. If you are a professional watching this and you work with couples or individuals that are going through a separation, then you can get onto a special mailing list that we have that shares all of these resources so that you can then share them with your clients. But it also includes details of networking events that I'm running, training that I am involved in, or other events that I know about, so that you can see whether there's training or workshops or networking events that may be beneficial for you. And you can access that list by going to bit.ly/LKW FamMed sign up. Thanks for watching this. I hope that you have a great Wednesday. And if you need any more information about separation, please do have a look at the website lkwfamilymediation.co.uk. Thanks for watching.